We lived a very different kind of life. You know, my husband is an artist who makes sculptures, and he was understanding about my work. Who would have thought that being married for more than 40 years wouldn't last forever? Meryl Streep had fooled everyone. While fans loved Meryl Streep's perfect red carpet looks and sweet speeches, she was quietly living a secret life and nobody knew. Behind the awards, the smiles and that gold wedding ring was a secret so well hidden that even Hollywood's smartest reporters missed it. I think the most surprising news to come out this weekend was about Meryl Streep. So, she and her husband Don Gummer have been married for 45 years, and news came out this weekend that they've actually been living apart. Why did Meryl hide her split for so long? And what personal truth did she tell everyone after her divorce? Join us as Meryl Streep finally talks and confirms what people were saying. 45 years of marriage, 6 years of hiding in front of everyone. Meryl Streep and Don Gummer had been living apart for more than 6 years. But the world had no clue. Nobody saw it coming or even thought it could happen. But on a quiet Saturday in October 2023, Hollywood's most private famous couple made news that left everyone shocked. The timing made it even more surprising. Just 1 month before, the couple had quietly celebrated their 45th wedding anniversary. Streep was still wearing her wedding ring at public events. Photographers had taken pictures of her at the Princess of Asturias Awards in Spain just days before the announcement. Her gold ring was clearly showing as she got her honor. Their last time together in public was at the 2018 Oscars. 5 years went by without anyone asking why Gummer stopped coming to red carpet events. The split had been so carefully hidden that not a single gossip magazine found out about it. No photographers caught pictures of Streep with another man. No whispers from Hollywood insiders. No leaked court papers or messy divorce fights. The announcement came through Streep's people with perfect timing. One simple statement explained everything and nothing at the same time. They had been living apart for more than 6 years. They would always care for each other. They had chosen separate lives. The statement made people ask more questions than it answered. Hollywood marriages rarely last 5 years, let alone 45. When they do end, the world usually watches every messy detail happen in real time. Streep and Gummer did something almost impossible in the age of social media. They kept their split completely private while showing up in public in ways that made everything look fine. The couple had mastered the art of smart privacy throughout their whole marriage. Streep rarely talked about her personal life in interviews. When she did speak about marriage, her comments were short and practical. She once told a reporter that good relationships needed goodwill and knowing when to stay quiet. That way of thinking seemed to work for their split as well. Their 4 grown-up children never let anything slip. Henry, Mamie, Grace, and Louisa all have successful jobs in entertainment. They go to events and give interviews all the time. But none of them ever hinted that their parents were living separate lives. The family kept a united front that would make professional publicists jealous. The news changed how people looked at some of Streep's most memorable moments. Her 2012 Oscar speech thanked Gummer first, telling him he had given her everything she valued most. The audience was moved by what seemed like real emotion in the moment. Knowing what we know now, those words mean something different. They might have been a goodbye disguised as thankfulness. Gummer had been there for Streep's biggest career moments for decades. He stood beside her for all 3 Oscar wins. He supported her through career highs and lows. Then suddenly, he wasn't there anymore. His absence was so gradual that nobody noticed until it was pointed out years later. The split announcement made people guess wildly about what went wrong. But 6 months later, the world still has no real answers. Neither Streep nor Gummer has talked publicly about their decision. Their representatives haven't given more details. The same privacy that hid their split continues to protect their reasons for it. What most people don't know is that Meryl Streep's greatest love story actually started at her lowest point. So, how did a chance meeting during tragedy turn into Hollywood's longest-lasting marriage? Fast romance that beat all odds. In 1978, everything changed for Meryl Streep. John Cazale, the talented actor she had been with for 2 years, lost his fight with lung cancer. Streep had stayed by his side through every treatment, every hospital visit, watching the man she loved slowly get sicker. The emotional pain was crushing. Cazale wasn't just any boyfriend. He had appeared in 5 movies during his career, and every single one was picked for Best Picture. The Godfather, The Conversation, The Deer Hunter. He worked alongside the biggest names in Hollywood. Streep met him while they were both performing in Shakespeare plays in New York. Their relationship was intense and passionate, built around their shared love of serious acting. When Cazale died, Streep was completely lost. She had put her own career on hold to take care of him. Now she faced an empty apartment filled with memories and a future that felt uncertain. The sadness was so overwhelming that she could barely work. Her brother Harry stepped in to help. He came to the apartment Streep had shared with Cazale, ready to help her pack up and move on. He brought along a friend, Don Gummer, a sculptor from Kentucky, who was quietly making a name for himself in New York's art scene. Gummer was different from the intense theater actors Streep usually surrounded herself with. He was calm, steady, and had a gentle way of being present without making her grief worse. While Streep was emotional and expressive, Gummer was thoughtful and measured. He had studied at the School of the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston and later earned his Master of Fine Arts from Yale University. The connection between them was unexpected. Streep was still deep in mourning, hardly ready for any kind of relationship. Gummer was getting ready to leave for a long trip to Pakistan. But something drew them together during those difficult days of packing up her old life. Gummer offered Streep his Soho apartment while he traveled. She needed somewhere to stay and he needed someone to watch his place. It seemed like a helpful arrangement that would help them both. What started as a simple favor became something much more important. While Gummer was in Pakistan, they began writing letters to each other. These weren't romantic love letters at first. They were the mail of 2 people getting to know each other across an ocean. Streep was working through her grief by writing, and Gummer was sharing his experiences traveling through a completely different culture. The letter writing didn't last as long as planned. Gummer had a motorcycle accident in Pakistan and had to cut his trip short. He returned to New York to recover, which meant he and Streep were suddenly sharing the same space again. Their relationship moved incredibly fast after that. Within months of Cazale's death, Streep and Gummer were talking about marriage. Some people in Streep's life worried it was too soon, that she was making big decisions while still grieving. Family members questioned whether this was a rebound relationship that would crash and burn. By September 1978, just 6 months after they met, Meryl Streep and Don Gummer were married in her parents' garden. What happened next reveals the most interesting part of their relationship. How did 2 people from completely different worlds create a partnership that fooled everyone for decades? Balancing stardom, sculpture, and secrets. While Meryl Streep was becoming the most celebrated actress of her generation, Don Gummer was quietly building his own artistic empire. Most people knew him only as Meryl's husband, the man who showed up to award shows in a tuxedo. They had no idea he was a respected sculptor whose work appeared in galleries around the world. Gummer's art was completely different from his wife's profession. He worked with bronze, steel, and stone, creating massive sculptures that took months to complete. His pieces were displayed in museums from New York to California. Critics praised his ability to make heavy materials look like they were floating. While Streep transformed into different characters on screen, Gummer transformed raw metal into flowing works of art. The couple developed a system that kept both their careers thriving. When Streep needed to travel for filming, Gummer would stay home with their 4 children. When he had gallery openings or installations to oversee, she would adjust her schedule to be the main parent. They never competed with each other for attention or success. Their parenting approach was just as strategic. Streep admitted she was the stricter parent, the one who enforced rules and pushed the children to excel. Gummer took on the role of the understanding dad, the one the kids could talk to when mom was being too intense. This good cop, bad cop routine worked so well that all 4 children grew up to have successful careers in entertainment. Henry became a musician and formed the band Bravo Silva. Mamie starred in medical drama Emily Owens MD and had recurring roles on The Good Wife. Grace appeared in major TV shows like The Newsroom and Mr. Robot before marrying music producer Mark Ronson. Louisa landed the lead role in HBO's period drama The Gilded Age. The family's success wasn't accidental. Streep and Gummer created an environment where creativity was encouraged and privacy was protected. They never used their children for publicity. Family photos rarely appeared in magazines. The kids grew up understanding that their parents' fame came with responsibilities they needed to respect. Money was never an issue for the family. Streep's film career brought in millions, while Gummer's sculptures sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars each. They owned properties in Connecticut, New York, and Los Angeles. Yet, they lived relatively quietly, avoiding the flashy lifestyle that destroyed many Hollywood marriages. Their public appearances followed a careful pattern. Gummer would attend Streep's biggest moments: Oscar ceremonies, premieres, major award shows. He would smile for photographers and support his wife, then disappear from the spotlight until the next important event. Streep rarely talked about their marriage in interviews, keeping personal details private, even when reporters pushed for information. The couple's social circle included other long-term Hollywood couples who valued privacy over publicity. They spent time with people who understood the pressures of fame and the importance of protecting family life. These friendships provided a support system that helped them navigate the challenges of maintaining a marriage in the entertainment industry. Their homes reflected both their personalities. Streep's awards and film memorabilia shared space with Gummer sculptures and art books. The Connecticut house, where they raised their children, had a workshop where Gummer could create smaller pieces and a screening room where Streep could watch dailies from her current projects. Their most public moment of love would later become their most heartbreaking memory. What did Meryl Streep say that night that now makes everyone wonder if she already knew it was ending? The Oscar speech that now breaks hearts. February 26, 2012 marked a night that would haunt Hollywood for years to come. Meryl Streep walked onto the stage at the Kodak Theater to accept her third Academy Award. This time for playing Margaret Thatcher in The Iron Lady. What happened next created one of the most memorable Oscar moments ever recorded. Streep broke the unwritten rule of acceptance speeches. Most winners save their spouse for the end, knowing the orchestra will start playing them off. She flipped the script completely. Don Gummer became the first person she thanked, and her words carried weight that no one understood at the time. The camera captured Gummer's reaction in the audience. He looked genuinely surprised by being mentioned first. His eyes filled with tears as Streep spoke directly to him from the stage. The moment felt spontaneous and real, which made it even more powerful for viewers watching at home. Streep's voice cracked slightly as she delivered those words about everything she valued most. The audience fell completely silent. Even hardened Hollywood veterans seemed moved by the raw emotion in her voice. The speech became an instant classic, replayed countless times on social media and award show highlight reels. What makes this moment so significant now is the timeline. Streep separated sometime around 2017, according to their representatives. That means her Oscar speech happened roughly 5 years before their marriage ended. Yet her words that night sounded like someone who was deeply grateful for a relationship that had sustained her through everything. The 2012 ceremony was also notable for another reason. It marked one of the last times Gummer would be prominently featured at a major Hollywood event. After that night, his appearances became less frequent and more low-key. The man who had supported Streep through every career milestone slowly began fading from the public eye. Streep's competitive category that year included Viola Davis for The Help, Rooney Mara for The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, Jessica Chastain for The Help, and Michelle Williams for My Week with Marilyn. The race was considered tight, making Streep's win even more meaningful. She had been nominated 16 times before this victory, so the moment carried extra emotional weight. The Iron Lady role required Streep to master Margaret Thatcher's distinctive speaking style and mannerisms. She spent months studying footage of the former British Prime Minister, working with dialect coaches to perfect the accent. The performance was widely praised as one of her most challenging and successful transformations. Gummer's presence at the ceremony wasn't unusual at the time. He had attended every major award show where Streep was nominated or presenting. The 2012 Oscars followed the same pattern they had established over decades of marriage. He wore a classic black tuxedo. She wore an elegant gown, and they posed together on the red carpet before taking their seats. The speech lasted less than 2 minutes, yet it captured something that felt timeless about their relationship. Streep managed to be both personal and professional, thanking her husband while also acknowledging her collaborators on the film. The balance she struck that night reflected the same careful approach she had always taken to discussing her private life. 6 years later, at the 2018 Academy Awards, Streep and Gummer made their final public appearance together. The story everyone thought was over suddenly took an unexpected turn that shocked Hollywood even more than the divorce. Could Meryl Streep really have found love again at 75 with someone nobody saw coming? Plot twist to new love at 75. January 2024 brought news that made the entertainment world do a double-take. Reports surfaced claiming Meryl Streep had been secretly dating Martin Short for well over a year. The 75-year-old actress and the 74-year-old comedian had apparently found romance while filming Only Murders in the Building together. The timing was perfect and shocking at the same time. Streep's separation from Don Gummer had been public knowledge for just a few months. Most people assumed she would focus on her career and family during this transition period. Instead, she had quietly begun a relationship that caught everyone off guard. Martin Short brought his own complicated history to this new romance. He had been married to actress Nancy Dolman for 30 years until she died from ovarian cancer in 2010. Short rarely spoke about dating after losing his wife. Friends described him as someone who thought his romantic life was over. Meeting Streep changed that completely. The connection between Streep and Short made sense once people thought about it. Both had lost partners to cancer. Streep's early boyfriend John Cazale died from lung cancer in 1978. And now Short had experienced a similar tragedy with his wife. That shared understanding of grief and loss created a bond that went deeper than typical Hollywood relationships. Their work relationship had been professional and friendly for years before anything romantic developed. Short and Streep had traveled in similar social circles and had mutual friends throughout the entertainment industry. They had appeared at the same events and charity functions without anyone noticing any special chemistry between them. Only Murders in the Building provided the perfect setting for their relationship to develop naturally. The show films in New York where both actors have homes. They spent long days on set working closely together, getting to know each other beyond their public personas. The relaxed atmosphere of a successful show gave them time to build trust and friendship first. Sources close to both actors described their romance as completely unexpected. Neither was actively looking for a relationship when they started spending more time together. The connection developed gradually, surprising them both with its strength and compatibility. Their families reportedly approved of the relationship from the beginning. Streep's 4 adult children and Short's 3 children all gave their blessing to the new romance. Friends described the couple as adorable together, noting how Short's humor complemented Streep's more serious nature. The relationship remained remarkably private despite both actors being constantly in the public eye. Paparazzi photos never captured them on romantic dates. They managed to keep their personal life separate from their professional obligations, just as Streep had done throughout her marriage to Gummer. Short's comedy background brought a completely different energy to Streep's life. While Gummer had been quiet and steady, Short was known for making people laugh and bringing joy to every situation. The contrast represented a new chapter that prioritized happiness and companionship over the serious artistic partnership she had shared with her husband. Neither Streep nor Short showed any interest in marriage. According to people close to them, both had experienced long committed marriages and felt content with their current arrangement. They were happy being boyfriend and girlfriend without the legal complications that marriage might bring. The relationship also gave both actors something to look forward to beyond their careers. Do you think Meryl kept her separation secret to protect her family? Or was there something else she was hiding? Is finding love again at 75 with Martin Short the perfect Hollywood ending or just the beginning of another chapter? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the next video showing on your screen. You will enjoy it.